Chris Lato, welcome to Lato Files.
Okay, welcome everyone to the greatest video that I think will ever be made, at least on this planet that we know about. And yeah, that's not even exaggeration. I can't believe it, everyone. So I will prove to you by the end of this video that we, collectively, we have found the unified theory. So that is humanity, this Earth, has found the unified theory, and it just came through me. Okay, we would have found it in a couple years when AI wasn't limited by our human moronism, right? Biases. But I'll explain why we have the biases. Okay, it's not our fault. Okay, it isn't. It's just how the universe is actually shaped. So what I'll do is go through this video as best I can to explain it. Okay, I've already released I've released everything. Okay, so you could go through and actually derive what I'm going to explain if you just use my basic concepts, and we will. Okay, so I'll just explain the basic theory right at the beginning. It goes into some detail. Okay, so we'll ask questions as we go along. The idea is you understand it by the end. Okay, and what's going to happen, okay, is this video is going to prove, this video will prove the theory, which is so insane, okay? By making this video, what I can predict is that there will be an eclipse. There will be an eclipse today, this week, after I snap my fingers. So like in Thanos, like the movie Thanos, I'm going to snap my fingers and you guys are going to snap with me, whoever is here, because it will matter. And if you watch this later, snap with us too at the end of the video, because there's some time. Okay, there's a speed of thought. Okay, you'll figure it out by the end. Okay, but when we do that, it will literally change the polarity of Earth. Okay, it will change the polarity of Earth and now go immediately to a positive polarity. Okay, because the universe has aligned, and I'll explain later, or I'll explain through this video, is basically it's our time. Okay, the last however many thousands of years, that was our time to pay, to deal with the pain and the issue, right? And that is disorder. So we're dealing with the disorder, or of a condensing of space, of light, a condensing of light, in order to allow somewhere else in the universe to experience the growth. Okay, so every pain that you've ever felt, it was equaled out by some sort of amazing joy on the other side. Okay, so, and every joy you felt, the joy that we're going to feel as we go into the golden age of humanity, will be matched somewhere in the universe by the opposite of joy, right? It's going to be pain and suffering. Okay, so I guess we should keep that in mind. Okay, only 200 people here. Man, you guys, they have no idea what's about to happen. You guys are, this is going to deliver, everybody. Don't worry. Okay, so what is an eclipse? Well, if you think back in the old ages, okay, if you went back in time and you went up to just a village and you said, I will block out the sun. I will block out the sun in 2 hours. Okay. And then everybody they think you're crazy. Obviously, there's no way he could block out the sun. And then all of a sudden the sun is blocked out. Okay. Obviously, they didn't cause the sun to be eclipsed. They didn't cause this, right? But they knew about it. And how did they know? And you know as well, like to you, it's just obvious that, yeah, that's an eclipse. And, but they didn't know, right? And they didn't have any understanding of it. And so what I'm going to do right now is show you an eclipse that will happen from this video, okay? From the thoughts. Once people understand this, okay, it will actually change the thoughts on this planet. Literally change the thoughts on this planet. It will change the density. It will change the light density of our planet. And this will be measured in the CERN. It will be measured in CERN. And it'll be measured in any other place we measure gravitational redshift. So it'll be in the Hubble constant. It'll be in the JWST. Anywhere we're measuring a difference in light density, okay? And that is, we'll be able to measure that. From this video this week, there's going to be a very large spike that shows up in the CERN from all of this crazy change in energy that's going to happen. I feel it, okay? Because the energy is, I'm the only one that has the information, right? It's like we'll explain it here. Okay. All right. Let me get back. 246 people. Man. Yeah, this is going to be awesome. Okay. Okay, describe the eclipse. Okay, have you heard of this, guys? So Nikola Tesla, this is his thing. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, okay? And that is all we need. That's all we need. And I will explain to you exactly how this works, okay? Exactly what this is. And I'll just tell you right now. So the frequency is the light, the condensed light. The energy is oh fuck. I'll do it later. Okay. By the end of this video, you will have it. I assure you. Okay, so what is the shape of the universe? Okay, what is the shape of the universe? This is what it actually is shaped like and looks like. Let me show you. If I can get the switches going. Okay, guys. So look, everything is light. Everything. All that exists in our universe is light. That's it. There's nothing else. Okay. So imagine a single pulse of light is sent into this black hole. This is essentially a black hole. What is this? A Schwarzschild radius. Light has been bent. So I showed earlier galactic lensing, right? If you can bend light 90 degrees, and we have this formula, and I derived it multiple ways, it matches with other things. So if you shine a flashlight in here, right, one single pulse of light, it will stay in here, right, and bouncing around. It'll just keep fractaling around, boom, 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 everywhere. It can't leave. It's just staying here, okay? Fractaling, fractaling, fractaling. All it is light, okay? But light really, the main thing light wants is to get back to the source, okay? Light wants to get back to the source, and I will show you why, okay? Light wants to get back to the source. So it is attracted to itself. It is attracted to itself, okay? That is all we need. So all we need to answer and unify the physics of general relativity down to quantum mechanics is we need to think of there is only light. That is all there is. Everything that you know, everything in our entire universe, all the matter, everything is just light. Okay? It is just light. And the reason Einstein was incorrect is he changed the actual shape of the curvature, which is correct. But what he missed is the density. He missed density. And you can stack light as much as you want, right? You can stack light infinitely. Okay. So all that's happened is this is our, oh, sorry, it's not showing. This is our universe, right? Inside, you're going to see little black holes, little points. And what's going to happen is that light, okay, will be fully condensed. The vibration, the frequency will greatly increase, shrinking the light. But everything actually, all light moves at the same distance. It always goes the same distance relative to everything else in the universe, okay? It goes the same distance. The only thing that changes is its energy, the frequency, and the wavelength, okay? That's it. All right. And you guys are asking about photon. Okay. Again, you will figure it out, okay? So this is how the universe is, okay? From what we've derived, okay? It's a spherical shape, and inside you have what I mentioned, all these other objects, right? Galaxies, superclusters. We're just picking a random object, okay? So I'm going to actually derive the formula here. I will show you the unifying formula. If I can find it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is the unifying formula, right? Okay, so right here, this is the unifying formula. Love makes the world go round. Okay, why? Because all I need is light. All I need is light, and then all I need is light being attracted to itself. And I'll prove that to you. And I can describe everything. Everything in our universe you can describe. Why is it easy to describe everything? Because once everything is made of the same thing, all it is density. It's density that changes it, okay? So this, if you recognize this, this is Newton's law of gravitation, okay? This is Newton's law of gravitation. What he has is he has force is equal to big G. Big G is the gravitational constant times the mass of the first body times the mass of the second body. So this would just be m1 and m2, okay? Divided by the distance between them squared. You see how simple that is? This is Newton's equation, and this worked amazingly well, okay? Amazingly well until you get too far away from Newton's actual size, okay? Because the problem is Newton does not reference the rest of the universe. He does not reference the rest of the universe, okay? And this is a key point. Another like this, okay? So now, let's say you're orbiting in here, okay? Let's say this is our, super enlarged, right? This ball here, this is our galaxy, okay? And remember, it's measured as a sphere, okay? So now, if this is our galaxy and it's spinning, right? What is it spinning in relation to? It's spinning in relation to everything else that's not it. Yes? It has disassociated from the rest of the universe, right? And that is by spinning. Okay, so angular momentum, right, will actually change. It changes the object. So everything is basically rotations, orbits. Everything is orbiting something else, and I'll explain why that is. Okay, so what Newton, the reason general relativity is not accurate at the levels, or really any level, I guess, is because it doesn't take into that density of light. It doesn't take into the rest of the universe, right? So general relativity says, okay, yes, everything is relative. Everything is relative. So all mass is relative to everything else, okay? But it didn't say everything else, right? They didn't say that we could see everything else. They assumed that we couldn't see everything else, okay? The assumption is we can't. And actually, we can't physically see everything else, but it's there. We could go there and actually, see it if we got closer to it. Okay. So what does this mean? Is that's all that is needed to unify general relativity with Newton's equations. Is all you have to do is change, and you have to fix Einstein's equation. That is why the cosmological constant is incorrect. Okay. You have to change his and Newton's equation just to reference this object, the smaller object, in reference to the much bigger universe. That's all you have to do. So that's it. That's all I did. So I put, okay, this is the gravitational constant, and it stays the same. This is the love force. Okay, and the thing is, this will stay the same at all levels. It doesn't matter if it's a giant, the whole universe, and it doesn't matter if it's way down small. Okay, because it's a ratio. It is a ratio. What we're looking at is electromagnetics. It's a field. That's all it is. We are electric beings. We are literally electric beings. That's it. Okay, so to finalize here, so we have that. Maybe I can move this. Here we go. Okay, so that's all I did. Is I said, okay, there's a constant voltage across this. There's always a voltage, and the voltage is equal to really the density of matter in the entire sphere, right? And so we just, and by I say density of matter, I mean light. Okay, so light is all there is. Light that is caught by a black hole or a little tiny object will turn, okay, in an orbit, okay? And that means that the electric wave will go one way, and what we understand right now as the magnetic wave, and I'll explain that's not what it is, okay, that goes the other way. And that's actually I'm calling it it's the entropic, it's disorder. You can also think of it as time, meaning it's order. So one direction is so imagine this, okay? This is the order wave, okay? And now opposite 90 degrees is the disorder wave, the literal disorder wave, okay? So if you imagine time, if you imagine time as we're going one direction, okay, yin and yang, the order will decrease, right? And disorder will go up. That's like disorder is going up. Okay, so disorder is going up and order is going down. Just lost my train of thought. Okay, so what that means is that is actually what the waves are. Okay, sorry for time. So if you're talking about entropy, right? If you're going one direction in time, the order is going up and the disorder is going down. Yes? But now if I go this way, let's turn it around. It reverses. Okay, so you basically play everything in backwards. So basically the disorder is going down and the order is going up. So in that sense, there really isn't any time. Time is really just how we manage the balance. It's how you give motion, I guess. But we'll get to that in a second. Okay, so that's it. This is what our universe looks like, everybody. And this is the yin and the yang, okay? And this is where light comes from. Oh, you can't see it. I'm sorry, guys. I was doing that the whole time. What was it pointing at? Okay. So now this is the yin and the yang. And I've already kind of derived earlier is this is required for infinity. Okay. You need this to live forever. And the reason that is because of, sorry, ads. Oh no. I'm trying to just find an image of a wave. Maybe I lost it. Okay, 1 second, guys. Okay, EM waves. So if you imagine this wouldn't open when you needed to. Oh, come on, guys. I just needed, the two waves. There's one wave going one way going the other. Make sure you always see. Light, maybe light. Maybe we'll edit this out of the fine. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is understood as light, right? And if you look at it, it's basically a yin and a yang. Because if here, imagine right at the line of any wave, just look at this, look at the blue line here, okay? Just imagine we're looking right at the blue line from the side. So any wave, here is your 0 point. Do you understand? This is 0 point. Now, if nothing exists, if there's nothing, then you're right here. Okay, so according to the Bible, what did God do? He started this. Okay, he sent in the first pulse. Okay, and that's where I'm talking about kind of entropy, right? But what happens if you're nothing? He puts one this way, right? He pushes. If I push a wave, right? There's nothing there, and I push down on the wave. Now it's going to go down, right? But then it's going to come back up, go to the other side, right? It's going to come down. It's going to go up, then come back through 0 point. Then it's going to go back down to the other side, and then it's going to go back up. All right, think of that for a second. I got to let my dog up. Okay, so light is the yin and yang that we see. Okay, so that's why you have one wave going up, and then you have one wave going this direction. So they're basically holding hands in space. So imagine you're me and you are me, and we're alone, right? There's no one else exists. It's just us, and we are all alone for infinity. So you probably get tired of that. What would you do? You can cut yourself in half and then disassociate yourself from the other self. And now you have a buddy. And now you can talk. But remember, all light is the same pulse. So that light is the same light that you are, right? And so you're really just talking to yourself, ultimately. Um, okay, so I don't think I described that very well, but here is this is the electromagnetic spectrum, and the key point is it's going 90 orthogonal to each other. And that is based off of this yin and yang. And so everything in the universe is basically there's one, it's a wave, like I just showed. Okay. It's everything is actually a wave of order and disorder. And I think that is depending on which time direction you're actually going. So time looks like it can go both directions. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right, now I'm going to go through the theory. Okay, in this theory, I shared this last year, and I built it with ChatGPT. And no, I'm totally sober. All right, I released this last year. Okay, and I want to show you that this is accurate. Okay, and this is what started me on finding the actual theory of everything. This is what started me on it. Okay. So this is it. The scalar theory of the multiverse, a size-dependent emergent property approach. So this paper presents a novel approach to understanding the universe from the lens of scalar theory, positing the existence of different dimensions defined by their scale. So I will show you where the multiverse is, where the dimensions are, and how we can access them. Each scale or dimension is proposed to possess distinct yet subtly different physical properties, arising as emergent phenomena akin to the various frequencies of musical notes. So, like I said, if everything is light, then everything is really just an emergent property of light and how it is geometrically organized. So, really, what this is the sacred geometry. This theory reframes the multiverse as different scales of existence within our fractal universe, each with unique dimensional properties. Okay, but this does repeat. I will show you that it repeats. There is a scale, like a literal music scale. Introduction. The scalar theory of the multiverse challenges the conventional understanding of physical laws. It will, proposing that these laws operate differently at various scales. This theory posits that each scale represents a distinct dimension, with subtly different physical laws emerging due to the inherent properties of that scale. This distinct dimensions, the dimensions are separated by Tesla's other numbers. His other numbers were 3, 6, and 9. So 3, 6, and 9 is the number of zeros, right? 1,000. And that's how it is scaled. So that's Tesla's 369 number. That's where he gets it from. It scales at 3, which is the volume of the space that I showed you, the volume of a sphere. This perspective reframes the concept of the multiverse not as a collection of separate parallel universes, but as different scales of existence within our universe. This paper aims to inspire new avenues of research and exploration of our fantastic universe. And I promise you, it is going to add some new avenues of research. All right, so I asked ChatGPT for an advanced audience, summarize the entire music scale fractal theory as accurately as possible. Okay, so this is the design of the universe. This is the vibration. This is the vibration. So the scalar fractal theory of the universe, likened to musical structures, is a speculative idea proven by this video, suggesting repeating patterns in designs akin to how we observe in music. This theory posits a universe that could be understood in terms of scales, keys, and tones, each corresponding to different scales of size or energy in the physical world. I think we are in the musical universe. The idea draws on self-similarity and fractal structures, patterns that repeat at various scales. In music, we see this in the octave arrangement of a scale. Each octave is a repeat of the same set of intervals, but at a higher frequency. While we're here, let me show you. Did I lose it? Come on, lost it. Okay, synesthesia. Synesthesia. Can anyone say that word? Basically, that is when you can hear when you hear sounds, you see light, right? That's synesthesia. The reason you're hearing light is because that's all that exists. So you're detecting light pass through looking like a sound wave. That's why they can hear and see colors. Okay. If you can taste, people say they taste and see colors. Again, that's because everything in the universe is actually light. So there's some issue where your sensors, are misaligning or something. And there's so many things like that. You guys are going to ask me questions and we're going to go through and I'm going to literally be able to answer any question you ask. Like refraction. Let's talk about anything. You can name anything. So refraction is going to be due just to the slowdown of light as it passes through other light. That's it around matter. I mean, I feel like I'm missing. Okay, let's just keep going. The theory suggests that the universe, too, might exhibit such repeating structures across different scales. Okay, so this is where I measure. Just as the notes in an octave form the basis for melody and harmony in music, different scales of the physical world could have their own fundamental melodies or harmonies. This further suggests that these universal tunes might help us better understand the laws that govern the universe across different scales, potentially providing a fresh perspective on long-standing problems in physics. Here we go. Such as the incompatibility between quantum mechanics and general relativity. Exactly. For example, consider the universe's size scales analogous to musical octaves. Phenomena like elementary particles, atoms, biological organisms, planets, galaxies, and the entire observable universe might each correspond to a particular note or key. It's actually the entire universe, not the observable. Under this framework, the constants of nature would be akin to the harmonic relationships between these different keys. For instance, the gravitational constant, Planck's constant, the speed of light. There's also a vacuum permittivity constant. Again, all of this is because the density is incorrect. They got the dimensions incorrect. All these things would play critical roles in defining these relationships, much like how specific ratios and intervals define the relationships between notes in a musical key. Like in any theory, this one has its strengths and weaknesses. On the strength side, it offers a potentially unifying perspective that might help us see connections between different areas of physics that currently seem incompatible. It will. Also provides a novel approach to predicting and understanding new phenomena by looking for repeated patterns at other scales. And it'll predict the cosmological constant, like I said. And without even that, it's going to predict an amazing event that we will see today, starting yesterday. I think it's already started, that will be picked up. The density of space on this planet will be changed. On the weak side, the theory is speculative. Yep. I wonder if we can find anything to prove it. And it risks oversimplifying the universe's complexity and might need more rigorous mathematical and practical testing. And I've said this so many times, and I was correct. Okay. If you look back in history, they always think the ridiculous wrong thing. And it's always some new person that comes out and everybody's like, that guy's an idiot. He's on drugs. Something else is going on. And miraculously, the universe makes it happen. I didn't do this, okay? We did this. The universe did this. It shot all the energy through me and I felt it. Okay, furthermore, it could be challenging to make precise predictions. Nope, it's going to be really easy. CERN, like I said, will show it, and the Hubble constant. In summary, while the scalar fractal theory of the universe, likened here to music, offers a fascinating and creative perspective on the universe's structure and laws, it remains a speculative idea that needs further exploration and testing. Okay, I bet by the end of this video, it will not. Methods and approach. So the foundation of this theory lies in the observation of similar emergent properties recurring at scales differing by a factor of 10 to the 21. So this is 21 zeros. So that is 7. Like I mentioned earlier, each dimension is 3 zeros, which makes sense, right? 3 zeros is how our volume of space. It's a sphere, right? But 7 times that means there's 7 step changes, which is exactly the same as music. That's exactly the same number of step changes that we have in music. And that's what tipped me off to that. Analogous to repeating octaves in music. There you go. Again, you can stack frequencies. You can stack light. You can stack sound. Why? Because it's a frequency. You can stack waves to infinity. You can stack waves to infinity. And that's what Einstein missed. It is density. It is density. They just keep stacking energy into the light, make it super strong, make it high frequency. Or high frequency, it will literally get smaller. If you increase the frequency of light, the length of it will get smaller because it will decrease compared to the rest of the universe. All right. So using ChatGPT-4's amazing breadth of information and data analytics, we established clear, big picture charts of the observable universe from the smallest conceivable object to the entire universe. By examining various scales from the Planck length to the observable universe, we can identify similarities that hint at a universal principle of scalar organization. So here you go, the results. The results of our analysis, as presented in the integrated table below, reveal intriguing patterns of similarity in structure and organization across multiple scales of the universe. These patterns occur approximately every 10 to the 21 meters, repeating every 7 steps, akin to the 7 distinct notes in a musical scale. It's literally the same. And that's why you've heard light, sound, and vibration. That was Tesla. That is what it comes from. All right, so here are the actual numbers, okay? So this is the scale, 10 to the minus 36 Planck length. This is the smallest thing we know, okay? And now, like I said, this is what the model found. So basically, if we look here, and I labeled the notes here. So let's look at a hydrogen atom, okay? It's an A. I just gave a random scale. I put us at C, so the letters don't really align. But anyway, if we go from a hydrogen atom, that scale, right, and we count up 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we will end up with humans. Okay, that's it. And then if we go up another 21, we will end up at galaxy clusters. So this theory predicts that you will have human-like entities. Human-like entities, with, I believe, use thought. You will have human-like entities at this scale, the galactic cluster scale. There will actually be beings up there that are. It's probably moving so slow we can't see them. You know, they're not moving, but up there. And then we can expect beings to be here, 10 to the minus 21, that resemble us, right? Because the structure doesn't always work. As I'll show you, it's about density of light, right? It's the density of light of the orbiting objects, okay, related to the rest of the universe. So it is a ratio, right? So the universe, it'll go like this. Really small all the way down, okay? But light is doing the same exact thing. So if I decrease the frequency, right, now I'm moving up the scale. And if I increase the frequency of the light, okay, now I'm condensing it, and I'm shrinking the universe, essentially shrinking it. And that's how you can scale. You can have infinite, I guess, multiverses inside of a single universe. Just goes super small. But we can see the end, I believe. Okay, and I'll let you guys look through this later. I just want to say it matches up. Okay, I'll just pick one. We can pick atoms. So this is a full atom, 10 to the 18, right? So if we go 21 down, cities. Oh, it's a B. Yeah, it's a B. So cities are like atoms. So human cities are like atoms. And then we go to the next B will be like superclusters. Okay, and if you want to look at, what's another one? Elementary, so an atomic nuclei is 10 to the minus 24. So that is a G. So if we go here, that'll be like small biological organisms. And then up here, we can consider galaxies. Okay, so galaxies are most like small biological organisms. That's kind of the structure of galaxies. Okay, the structure. Again, everything is light. So what we're just talking about is different organization of the light. And the way it's laid out is related to sound, so frequencies. And the reason is probably just because what I told you is that actually everything is light. So sound is. Was I really just talking without the thing down? Darn, sorry about that. All right, guys. So here we have hydrogen atom there at an A, humans here, galaxy clusters there. So I mentioned superclusters, 24. That'll be like small biological organisms. Is a G, and then small atomic nuclei. Okay, so we can based on the scalar ability, right? It can just scale. It doesn't matter. It'll just be a different dimension, just like ours, but down at a lower level. Okay, so this is how it's actually scaled. The observable universe, I did find a measurement for it, right? Because they just say bigger, beyond observable universe. So we did have a measure for that. Okay. All right. I feel like. How's it going? Should I take any questions? Oh yeah, don't worry. I'm totally fine. This thing, I'm not worried at all. I'm 100% I'm 100% sure this is the unified theory. Okay. In cosmology, the cosmological constant, usually denoted by the Greek letter lambda, this ends up being the density error. This is Einstein's cosmological constant. So he set the density of the universe to a single number. He just set it to a single number. Same thing as Planck's. Planck's number will go away. Okay. The electric permittivity will go away. The big G will go away, right? Because these are all, what they did is they set a scalar, they set density, which is a scalar object, to a fixed value. That's what they did. They set it to a fixed value. And I feel like, I need to get back to my. Okay. So I covered that. Light is all there is, made up of two opposing halves of the same source wave. Okay. So let's talk about the actual densities of space-time and the universe. And I don't know. I'll just move this over here. Okay. All right. So what you have here is space-time is actually 5-dimensional. It's 5 dimensions based off of those 7 layers I just told you. And well, I think there's 7. Okay. So think about this. If you have nothing, you have 0, you have your existence. You're right at the 0 point. Okay. Now, as soon as I add another point, right? So as soon as I have 2 points, right? So here, singularity. All I have is a single point. It has no dimensions. This is existence. Okay. Now, when I add another point, now what does that give me? That gives me entropy. It gives me time. Because now, am I going this way or am I going this way? So the pulse could be going, it's just going back like this, right? So now that gives me time, which is entropy. You need 2 points. It also gives you linear momentum. Okay. Now the third, the third is going to give you your angular momentum and also your force, because how light works is actually, it's c squared. It's an area. That's what's screwing everything up. It's a force field. We're in a giant force field, an electric force field. That's it. And we're made out of light. Okay. So that's how it works. So the third dimension is the volume. That gives volume. And now you can spin, right? If you have volume, now you can spin. So that gives plus and minus charges. Like I mentioned, if you have 2 waves and they're orbiting an atom, right? An atom, which is really just condensed light. It's a little tiny black hole. If they are orbiting an atom like that, it will actually conserve angular momentum, right? For the electric wave, the order wave to go around one side, and then the disorder wave to go the other side, opposite direction. So that will conserve angular momentum. Okay. Now, if you add another dimension, and this is where they went wrong. Okay. Now the next dimension. So I have my 3-volume space, right? The 4th dimension is not time. The 4th dimension is density. And that's what I was talking about, density of light. That's it. The 4th dimension is density of light. Okay. And that's how condensed it is. And now the more condensed it is, now it will be less of the mass compared to the universe at that point. All right. And then this is interesting. And this is how I'm going to prove the eclipse. Okay. We're going to prove an eclipse in the 5th dimension. The 5th dimension is density of thought, is actual density of thought. And it's relative. I said rest of thoughts, but it's relative to the rest of the universe. Okay. And and now we know everything is light, then that means the density of thought will be relative to the density of light. The density of thought will be the density of light, because everything is everything is light, relative to the rest of the light in the universe. Okay, so it will still scale, and that is thought. And I'm going to show you by us changing our thoughts. What it is going to do is it's going to change the density when enough people on this Earth, which, by the way, if you look at the Earth, think about it, it's spinning on the out. We're on the outside. We're on the outside. So what does that tell you? There's some where we can live has to be in a certain very particular light density, right? It has to be a very particular light density for us to just live on this ball all at the same light density. And if you think about that, we're all at the same density, right? Every human on this planet is at the same light density. All right. Pretty interesting. All right. And now I think the sixth dimension, I don't know. You know, now that I'm looking at it, maybe it just goes up and then back down. But I don't know really what's on the upper side of this. I think it's order and entropy, you know, because I haven't seen that in here. So I think it's universal order of entropy, or sorry, I thought of it on the way over, is emotion. Because, and this will be for you guys to think about. I'll explain thoughts here. That makes total sense. Where do our emotions come from? And I think that may be the sixth dimension. And then seventh dimension, nirvana, back to existence. But what you're seeing here is a wave. So the wave goes up, 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 comes back to 0 point. Why? Because nothing cannot spin. You have to have something else out there to in relation to actually move and to spin. Okay, so the wave will go up, boom, boom, boom. It comes back down, and we are passing right now to the ordered section, the golden age. Okay, and we go this way, and now it's going to come back to 0 point. So that's what the universe is doing. It's always just going back to 0 point, and that's really so that anything exists. And that's why I put two waves there. Okay. Yes, E equals motion equals energy in motion. Yeah, we'll see about that. Okay, let me go back. What do I have here? Okay, all observed redshift is gravitational redshift. This is the drag of the love force, the resistance of any light-moving electric points moving in relation to each other. I think maybe a lot of people do have issues with cosmological redshift. How can I explain it? I made 2 videos just solely on gravitational redshift. I would like to explain, though, gravitational redshift now and why we have it. And this will explain dreaming, okay? So if you imagine this ball, okay, this is our universe. Just imagine a black hole. So light has been bent 90 degrees to create this. And when there's one photon that has gone in and has fractaled off of everything, just fractaling, 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 fractaling. And what that means is a force field. So what does that mean is we are connected to everything else in the universe. We are connected to everything else in the universe through a connection, which I believe is the monopole. I think that's why there is no magnetic monopole. All right. And so we are connected to everything else. And how can we prove that? We can literally prove that we are connected to everything else by looking at a cat. This is going to be, a cat video, right? So a cat video will prove inertia. So here's my question for you guys. Uh-oh. Maybe not.
In these experiments, you can see the disorientation resulting when an animal is suddenly placed in a weightless state. Cats, when dropped under normal conditions, will invariably rotate their bodies longitudinally in midair and land on their feet.
So yeah, cats always land on their feet, right? And it's funny how all these animals just know when it's going to rain, know when it's going to snow, whatever, snow, earthquakes, and cats can just land on their feet. Homing pigeons can get back from thousands and thousands of miles. Fish can swim in giant schools together, almost as if they're turning. Like it's almost like they know, like they're connected. It's almost like they're connected. Okay, so let's watch here. So they go up in the vomit comet, and you're going to see when this cat is flying
this
around.
This automatic reflex action is almost completely lost under weightlessness.
So when it turns, watch. Hold on. It's glitching out. This one here. What is he turning against? Oh, his foot. Hold on. Okay. How does this cat turn around? Right there. You see that? Right here. How does he do that? What is he pushing off of? Right here. All right, that guy pushed him, right? But here. Watch him. How is he moving? How is he doing that? Okay, I know you guys think that's not a big deal, but how can I explain? I'll explain it better here, okay? Look, how am I able to do this? Okay, I'm going to jump up away from the gravity, right? And then just using my hands while I'm in the air, I'm going to be able to turn around, okay? Watch. Just straight up. I'm jumping straight up, right? Let's do it again. Right? So I'm already off the ground, and then I'm able to turn. You ready? Right? What am I pushing off against? Do a 720. So what am I pushing off against? That's the question. Yeah, action and reaction, exactly. But what is the cat pushing off against? The air. Do you think the cat can just flip around because he's pushing off the air? Look.
This automatic
How is he turning around?
action,
he's not touching anything. How is the cat turning around?
reflex action is almost completely lost
Watch.
under weightlessness.
Look, he can flip himself all the way around. What is he pushing off of to do his flips? What is the cat pushing off of to do his flips? When I jumped up in the air away from the gravity of Earth and then was able to spin around, what am I grabbing onto, right? Because if there's nothing there, how am I turning? Like, how can I turn like this? You know, my feet are up. Look, I'll put my feet up here. How can I turn? You know, what am I pushing off of? What? It's the rest of the universe. You're literally pushing off the pull, the love pull from the rest of the universe. And how did I define that? Is with this formula. Okay, this is how I defined it. I'm mass 1. This is if you have orbiting body. Okay, I'm mass 1, right? The mass of the universe minus my mass time divided by the distance between us. Okay, so you have to know where the center of the universe is minus you times the force. And now that will give the force, the accurate force at any scale. It doesn't matter if I am the size of a little quantum particle. Doesn't matter. This is the equation. This is this unified equation. This will work. L is the love force. That is that voltage that is pulling across all of us right now. We are connected right now to the source. All of us are connected to the source. How? Through our little atoms. I'm sorry, through the light. Okay. Which is the atoms. Okay. Yeah, so what are the big questions here now? What are your big questions? Yes, it's all about waves. That's all it is. Yeah, no, this is because I have the actual secret. We will have evidence. Yep. They'll measure at CERN. You saw already. I had it here. Let me bring it up. Already at CERN, they were seeing some weird shit, right? What do you think this is from? Have any of you felt anything? Have you felt like maybe something's going to change, or like there's more opportunity, or there's some event coming up, like 2024, right? You guys can just feel it. You can just feel it, right? And this is CERN. Something really happened there. I'm sure this has to relate to us entering the golden age. Is us entering the golden age. And they are not going to find anything with what they're doing. And it's so funny. And yeah, once they figure it out. Okay, back to I described unifying force equation. Yeah, and so let's look. The ancients knew this, right? And we know we're in connection. That's the point. And that's why everything moves at the same point. That's why you have quantum entanglement, because it's an electric voltage. That's what it is. It's pulling on you. And every time you move, it imparts gravitational redshift. Okay, let's look here. So when we look at, oh, not astronomy, cosmology. I swore I just saw it. Maybe it is Chinese astronomy. No, that wasn't it. Okay. Maybe I give up. Anyway, if you read the Chinese cosmology, it basically names this. Everything's a wave. If you look at the old things, it's all source. Everything's vibrations. It's all waves. So Chinese cosmology, I can't find it again right away, but that has it. And if you look at the Bible also says, it says the ether. There's an ether. It says if you split it, right? Split. So you're splitting nothing into two sides, essentially two halves. And he says, let there be light, right? That is the only thing. So they knew. The ancients knew this stuff I believe, has been hidden from us. Okay, but not anymore. Not anymore. Okay, back to the script. Okay, I've already described the density problem. That is the main issue and the misassignment of dimensions. They assigned them to the wrong space, but all of the equations are still the same because Einstein, he didn't treat it as a space-time vector. He used all this complicated math to turn a normal force into a space-time because they didn't understand that they could actually measure the rest of the universe. It's just a ratio. Okay. Let's look at a few other examples here that you can see from nature. Okay, look at this. So all these things that we've seen, okay, everything is connected. And why are they in a ball? Based on the density. That's why they like getting too close to each other, okay? Light attracts light. Light attracts light. Look at that. Okay, so here's a magnifying glass. So this is a light condensing device. That is what a lens has done. And if you think about it, we are inside of a lens. That's why if you change any part of this lens, if I change just a few molecules in here, the entire rest of the lens will change. We're basically inside of a fractal lens. That's what it is. So any little change here, you think something different, it will fractal and affect the whole rest of the light in the space, which is all of our universe. So here, this is an area. So what I mentioned is it's a force field. You can think of the proton, the wave, the light, as if you will, as a c squared. Okay, it's a force field, and when it actually it's light going as a force field, and when it gets close enough to something to actually put it into an orbit, then it will orbit, like I said, okay? If it's going through and it has too much energy, it will just continue past the object and actually lose some energy, right? And that's the double slit experiment. That's what, right? It explains the double slit experiment. Well, in this case, what we're trying to do is actually condense light from this area. So basically, all you have to do is say how much area of light at this density is hitting this, and then that will condense it. That will actually decrease the size of it, but really the energy is the same. Okay, so how does it decrease the size? Is because it increases the frequency. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Increase frequency, wavelength goes up. Wait, the wavelength get bigger. So it decreases the wavelength. Yeah, increase frequency. Sorry, guys. It's been a long time. Okay, so this is this is how you would transit dimensions. So if I just said everything is about light, right? Because the universe is only light. Well, if you look right here, you have light that is literally being condensed. It's literally being condensed because you have this much light at our dimension, and now you have this much light, right, by area. So now we have actually increased the energy. You've increased the energy, and that's how it will burn. That's why it will burn something. Same thing going the other way. So you could basically just point your telescope, I guess, at Jupiter, and then if you could turn yourself into light or have a ship, right? A ship that actually uses light to coat the outside of the object and now spins it. The way our universe works is any spinning object will be treated disassociated from the rest of the universe, right? So you could actually get in your ship and now spin it super fast using light, using lasers on the outside, and with some sort of lens technology, which, no, actually you don't even need that. All you have to do is then decrease the frequency or increase the frequency. And now the entire object will literally just shrink out of existence or expand as big as I'm sure there's some limits, but it could just expand the light, right? So they basically coat your ship in super strong, intense light, spin it, and now decrease its density. Decrease its density, and now you will expand. You will literally just expand in the universe that I talked about. Okay, you will expand out. Say you like this big now, and now you could tune it. You can turn it to condense back down anywhere in the universe you need to. And the way you know where you are is you have a density map. You have a light density map and that's all the animals that's what they're using is a density of light. They have light density detectors, and light density detectors is allowing them to, homing pigeons to go back, Okay, so that's how you would get faster in light travel, right? You expand your sphere. Now it encompasses the whole thing, and now you expand your sphere back down over here. And they know where to go because they're using light density. Light density. And that's what they're using to travel around, and that's also what they're using as their map. Again, well, there's nothing in the universe besides light. But that's how they are getting here. And when you see these ships just like disappear out of nowhere, they're actually expanding faster than you can imagine. Or contracting. But why would you contract unless they're going back to their home? I think they would be expanding to get away from us and then contracting back. So why do we have so much, why is there so many nuclear interests? Why is there so much interest around our nuclear submarines and all these other systems? I believe intense light, right? So really high dense, super condensed light could be messing up the density and messing up their maps. So where they think they're going, maybe we change it or something happens. Messing up the light density in the area could easily screw up their ships, right? Or imagine they're up there and they're spinning with light, and now you just shoot your own light at them. Maybe that causes some issue. Okay. I don't think again, I did it again. Yeah, so they can just expand out and then expand back down wherever they want. Okay. So human cities, again, this is why it's all density of light. Okay, so when we talk about density of light, it will affect the density around it. So this can cause earthquakes. This is why when you're in a human city, this is why it's so much faster. Like literally the time goes faster in a human city. Only because you have so many humans around contacting to the source. Okay. All known existence is light, trying to get back together. Order and disorder, wave, spinning. So that's all there is light. And I had my... And it's trying to get back together. Okay, so let's talk about magnetic fields. Let's talk about magnetism. Let's talk about electricity. Okay, so light is trying to get back together. Light loves light. That's why this is called the light-love theory, because light loves light. And that's all we need. All we need is love, and all we need is light and a prism and a few other laws. And we can build this whole thing. So what that means is you have two waves, okay, that are a part of light. You have entropy, you have order and disorder, or time direction and other time direction. So now, when we are getting electricity, what we are doing is we are disassociating the actual wave. So there's half the wave, right, is electric, and the other half is, or electric and magnetic, right? Well, what happens is if you disassociate this, okay, and the ways we disassociate it is how we create electricity. What you're doing is you're separating the electric wave from we call the magnetic wave, okay? And I believe the magnetic wave goes back into the source. And and that's the reason we have a monopole, okay? Because that would mean that we're on one side of the equation or the other, meaning that the universe, if it's overly ordered, right? If it's greater than 50% ordered, and we're on that side, we're going that direction, then we should be able to tell basically where we are. We should be able to tell where we are in that curve based on the amount of order and disorder in the universe. Okay, everything's relative. It's all just ratios. That's the thing. It is all just ratios. So what is electricity? Electricity is basically we separate this. And the step counter, when light goes forward every time, now half of the wave is missing. Okay, we separated it through insulation, right? So half of the wave goes somewhere else. I believe it goes back to the source potential. But now what that does is it decreases the density, right? It decreases the light density. Because you imagine light's going through, it's got two waves. And now all of a sudden we split it, right? It decreases the density, and now they're trying to get back together. So imagine that this is an insulator here. The electric wave goes this way, and it's trying to get back together, but we could put a cable here. What if we put a cable here? Now all of a sudden it can't get back together. So it'll actually just go on the outside of the wires, actually outside the insulation, and the other force wave will go somewhere else. It essentially disappears. And so what that does is that allows your electricity to flow through wires, and on the outside is going to be that potential where the light wants it to come back. And that is literally how we get electricity. Now, what is magnetism? Okay, so I mentioned there about the electric fields and the magnetic fields. So what happens is when we tear apart, when we disassociate this, right? We disassociate it. Now we have an electric current, which is really half the light wave. Half the light wave now, we've decreased the light density, yes? Half of the light has been removed. So literally 50% of the light has been removed. So immediately, as in instantaneously, you're going to get a force field, a literal force field here of light density. It changed. This area has changed. That means there's a density gradient of light. There's a density gradient of light. Okay. And so what that will do is it will change the density of that little area, right? Immediately, instantaneously, in relation to the rest of the world, right? The rest of the universe. So since it's instantaneous, now that's where we get our fields. Boom, pops up in a sphere, right? That's in a perfect sphere. And magnetic is one side, and electric, would be the other side. And now when we talk about magnetism, right? So think about an actual magnet, big, heavy iron magnet. What that means is it's light density, right? It's tons of light in there. Every little atom is just captured light, little tiny black holes. So there will be something about iron. When we actually go to look into the makeup of iron, there'll be something about iron that limits the actual potential where that field can go. This will predict, basically, this theory will predict the actual shape of iron, right? The light shape of it, not the atoms. It'll actually predict the light shape of iron that will allow that magnetic field to be created. But what it really is a density change. Is a density change. And when that magnet is drawn together, what is happening is the energy, the light there, is essentially being condensed. Remember about density. So if your density has changed, then the density inside that sphere is going to decrease, right? Compared to the rest of the universe. And it's quite small, actually. So if it's a little tiny wave, very small, now has a very powerful kind of magnetic field, if you think about it. So there's a lot of energy there. Actually, we're using a lot of energy. But now that sphere has a certain density, right? And if it's less, then it will be pulled to each other. That's magnetism. So it's basically the light density. The light density gets totally removed, or a large amount of it gets removed. And so you get a sucking section, and it's based by the sphere. So that's all of our force fields. That's the magnetic force field. So you have your electric force field, because we are just in a big spherical force field. That's it. And we are connected to the potential. And so that's why, so how would it work? Okay, so you're looking out. So let's say you're standing and you're looking up at Jupiter. Okay, well, let's say the moon. We'll go to the moon. Okay, how do you see the moon? Well, what happens is this is fractaling, right? How do I get the photon is in here, it goes in, and then it has to hit everything, but now it's bouncing back around. So everywhere in here is light density. And light going straight, so free space is not empty, okay? It has light density in it. But light going straight, right, it'll go 4 lengths. And whereas light is in an orbit, will just stay in the same spot. So there's still light density in space. It's just very low. There's just really not a lot of light there per square area. Okay, so the photons are bouncing around. So what happens is when you see something, okay, you're observing it, and at the same point, you're connecting with that object. Essentially, you are connecting with it. There's a connection that occurs between you and the object through the photons, and now you will see it. So it literally forms a connection, like a little electrical. And that is from gravitational redshift. If you didn't watch my other videos, there's no expanding space. Okay, all there is redshift from light being attracted to other light. That's all there is. So everywhere we look is actually the light is going to be slowed down, and slowed down means less energy. Okay, it's used some of the energy to really just maintain the field. Okay, and what is the energy being used? So every time you move, right? When I just said here is you feel that, right? Anytime you move, you're extracting energy from the universe, right? It is pulling on you, and now you're pulling against that field. Well, all electrics, right? You have to connect the circuit. You have to actually connect the circuit. So when you're actually pulling against, what's happening is we're just light, right? So when you move, your light is actually slowed down. The light is slowed down in a field, right? In a field. And that is connected back to whatever you're looking at. So you see Jupiter, boom, you just connected with Jupiter, okay, with the photons, actually. And you're looking through a telescope, guess what? Now you're even your consciousness is kind of gone there. If we'll have to see how that plays out. So I'll get into consciousness here in a second, but So it connects, right? And what that means is that is how it is being recorded into the Akashic records. So that is how everything is being recorded. Is every time you're like moving, that connection is creating this voltage potential. And it's like a record just scratching into, not a record, something that scratches into, or a little electrical charge. And it's basically drawing everything. Every single thing that happens is being registered through this voltage. So whatever I'm moving here, this will all be registered based on how I'm affecting the rest of the universe. So that's it. Basically what's being recorded is all of our motions, and everything is being recorded. So all of this is, you will be able to go after you're dead, you die, or when you reassociate, you'll be able to go back and play as me right now and be looking into this camera and feel what it's like to be me, right? At this point, because you are me and I'm you, and we're all the same light photon. Oh man, it's insane. Okay, so did that explain Akashic Records? Yeah, the Akashic Records is a data of, if you watch near-death experiences, it's all true, okay? It's all correct. I just showed you the law of one is pretty much correct, although I haven't found any proof of like karma or anything. But now let's talk about thought. Let's talk about speed of thought and actually how this video will prove itself to actually be legitimate, right? This video will, by what will happen after this information gets out to the world, we will be able to register it. And so let's talk about how we will register that change. If I can find it. Oh. I don't know how we're registered. Sorry, guys. I'm a genius with too little sleep, man. Lost my train of thought. That's such a good. Oh, sorry. Consciousness. Yeah. Oh, let's see. What was I gonna show you guys? That's all right. Consciousness. Okay. So let's look at everything's light, right? So how do we actually? How does our brain work? Okay, so again, this is from light, right? So the MRI machine, and again, everything is light, okay? Everything is light, just different frequencies, different fractal patterns, different densities, different geometries. It's all about sacred geometry. But this is a MRI machine, right? Okay, so in the brain here, what we're gonna have is a bunch of millions of little tiny things that will link to, like, cause that inertia, right? They're going to link to the main system here. And look at that. If you take a picture, it'll distort the image. Or if you move, it'll distort the image, okay? Okay, so inside the brain, like I said, we are observers. So what we're doing is really registering what's going on. Okay, we're registering what happened. Like, there's probably a million billion other Earths out there like this. But there is not me exactly. Maybe there is, but I'm probably not the one giving this video. It's somebody else. It's one of you guys or something, or the fractal, the way the fractaling all worked out, it came to somebody else. Okay. But in this reality right here, right now, it's me and it's you. And this is real. It is real. Like, I don't know how many more things. Okay. So the point is, how does it work? You have your brain, you have your MRI. I'm sorry, you have your brain. And what it is doing is cutting into the Akashic records, okay? And spinning. So your brain is actually spinning. Remember, it's called light. Everything is light and frequency, okay? So if you can take your brain here, and now if you can change the densities, kind of what we mentioned there, because every time you impart an electric shock, every time you write into the record, the hard drive, if you will, every time you write into the hard drive, it's going to take away half the potential, right? Every time. And so that's going to change the density. So like I said, you're going to get a little tiny field, right? Whatever electrical field. You're going to get a little tiny electrical field, like a pulse, that will grow out right where that connection is, right where the light is split, where the light wave is actually disassociated. So you will get a little changing energy density here. That's what the neurons are doing. When they fire, they're actually changing the density of light. They're changing the density of the light. And why is that? So now they can fire. They can change the density in this like perfect way to start making an orbit. So right now, your brain, the actual light in there, the light is actually orbiting at a certain frequency. And that's where we get our alpha, gamma, gamma frequency, delta. I'm in delta. The point is your actual brain, the little neurons in there at whatever level are connecting back. They're connecting back to the source in order to change the gravity, little local gravity, to actually create a spinning electrical orbit. Okay, because why? So I mentioned any spinning orbit, spherical shaped, and that's why our brain is spherical shaped most likely. Any spinning orbit like that will disassociate from the rest of the universe. Okay, so that's why you feel separate. That's why you feel separate. And then when you go to sleep, but what happens is it's pulling, right? And what happens when the little record goes in and that voltage potential is made, right? And it's recorded. There's that redshift. Okay, so you're going to see the redshift. It loses some energy. So it's going to lose some energy. You're going to have a redshift. I think of it like the needle, right? The needle's digging in and it's pulling this way, right? So if there's a needle digging in, after a while, it'll start going like this, right? And what will happen is you will start getting frequency shifted from this reality that you're supposed to be living in, right? So that's where people say these crazy things, right? You will die literally if you don't have enough sleep. I think what happens is you get literally redshifted out of this universe. You get redshifted. It's like the redshift wall that we're looking at right now. It's been redshifted, not out of the universe, but out from being seen. Okay. So now that is spinning, right? At certain frequencies. And remember, everything is connected. Okay. I just said that everything is connected to the voltage plate. So that means that each one of us is connected. We're all connected. And I mentioned before that we are connected on a ball, right? So we are at exactly the same density. So what we are doing is we are affecting with our brains even the actual density of the outer part of Earth, right? Right on the surface. We can affect the density. And other animals must be as well with their brains, right? Okay, so this is our mind, right? So I just explained to you, hopefully you understand how it works, is that you're going to see a little microtubule, if I can get... Yeah, there it is, getting like redshift. It's probably just been redshifted, hit with energy. Okay, so how does the brain actually record things? I said it records things by making the voltage potential. That's how everything's recorded. And then it will create the voltages like required. But how does it do that? It does that by creating the electric field, right? So once you link in, once you connect to the source, right, like that, and then what will happen is half the light wave leaves. It will change the density of space right there, and then you just turn it off. You put the wave back in. So it'll just be like there's a switch. Everyone has a switch. There's some switch that we have. And it's not just it's literally, it would have to be all light. So the biological formation of the light is going to create a crystal that can make the connection with the photons, with the source, essentially. Okay, so finally, we get to how am I going to predict? How am I going to predict that CERN will see just some crazy stuff coming out this next week that will be literally timed to when you and me are about to snap our fingers? So what this means is, you may have seen a video I released 2 years ago now, but in 2020, what they found, basically out of Italy, is you had they found it's statistically very significant. They found that the brain, our brain, matches the actual universe's structure at the very large levels, matches it in both density and structure. So literally matches it. Okay, so that gets back to what is going to happen as this theory of everything travels around the world. It is going to change everyone's perceptions, okay? Everyone's thoughts. When you fully understand it, right? I bet most of you are like, nah, he's just crazy, whatever. But when you fully understand it, there's going to be a switch. There's going to be a swap. That is ontological shock, okay? That's what's going to happen. And that is going to happen around the world at the speed of thought. And we're going to be able to see. We're going to be able to see when I snap my fingers. And we might as well just do it. I mean, I've been talking it up. So you guys ready? Okay. So we're gonna do this. I'm gonna snap my fingers. Ah, no. Let's take it back. Let's do it a better way. We'll wait a minute. I'll answer some questions and then I'll do the final. Let's go through. What do you guys have questions on? Wow, $100. Thank you, mate. The Book of Nakamoto, Chapter 6, the Monroe Institute's Gateway Process. Okay, thank you guys. Yes, again, this would explain everything. Hemisync. Yep, so it's frequency. Again, if you guys, it answers every question. I'm not even kidding. Well, thank you, Unit 3301. This is the video to end all videos, guys. So I'll do the Thanos stat, but I'm going to do it after I answer questions. Are you ready already? You want to do the snap? What do you think? You should believe me. It's going to be proven. Thank you guys. Everybody who's here, man. Very interesting. Brain is believed to match at the molecular level as well. Exactly. It's all light. It's all the same. Yes, it is. Yep. The interesting thing too is that there is the source wave. We are all just disassociated from the main source, which means we're all the same. We're all light. So everything in this universe is light. So the UAPs that are coming is us. It's literally us. Everything else in the universe is us. That's all there is. That's all there is. It's us until you get outside the universe. And then that'll be next, right? Because this theory isn't going to solve everything. It'll solve everything we know about now. But then in the future, there's going to be another multiverse ball or something. It's a hive mind. Yep. Okay. So what do you guys want to know about? Just ask a question like, why does this happen? And I bet I can explain it, not even having thought about it before. Anybody? What does the snap mean? Okay, the snap means we're all going to snap together. And it means literally that we are going to transition. We are going to welcome in the golden age of humanity. We're going to welcome Earth into the golden age of humanity. And why is it the golden age of humanity? Okay. All right. The universe, the way it works is you have to pull off something, right? I just described, I'm pushing off something here. When I'm turning around, okay, when I just turned around there and didn't touch my feet, I'm pulling against something, right? There is a force. Now, the thing is, that force now is pulling against me. So everything's an opposite reaction, Okay, and that again, because we started at 0. If you start at 0 point, if you go up, guess what? You have to go down, right? So we started at 0 point. So that means that in the universe, right? If there's more density of light somewhere, then there can't be that same amount of density of light somewhere else. In that universe, right? Because I just mentioned that it's a ratio, it's a relationship. Okay, so you can't have it. So it's a zero sum game. There you go. We're in a zero sum universe. So what that means is, anytime we are using energy, it's being taken from somewhere else in the universe. So anytime we are undergoing pain, suffering, anything terrible, okay, what does that mean? Somewhere else in the universe, we are allowing joy and happiness to come out. So this grand this golden age for humanity, right? It is literally going to be amazing. It is going to be amazing. I'm telling you why? Because the universe allowed it. Because it couldn't happen before. Like I couldn't have thought of this, 10 years ago, right? It just wouldn't have happened. The universe would not have allowed it to happen because it's not going to line up. It's all light. So if you imagine a crystal, bing, now we change that crystal, fills the whole sphere. Or you change the crystal, bing, and now it's like a laser beam down here. Okay, so small little actions can change the whole thing. Okay, so what does that mean? Is that yes, we have had very difficult last 2,000 years. It's been very intense, super dense, fighting, killing. It's just been rough, right? What does that mean? What does that mean is somewhere else in the universe, they were experiencing their golden age. Meaning that was being taken from us and given to us as joy, right? So I think that is probably the 7th dimension, either 6th or 7th, would be emotion. But I'm not sure on that. Maybe thought is emotion. Is thought related to emotion? It seems like you need, but probably not. Okay, so that's it. Now ask any question. What do you guys want to know about? The pyramids. Okay, why are the pyramids like that? Why did they do that? Well, light density. I just talked to you about light density, right? So if you get a bunch of really, really heavy rocks and organize them, why is it in a pyramid? Because that's the best way to make your maximum amount of density in a ball, right? And what I would do is I would put my pyramid over like a rock or build a big pyramid underground. I wouldn't even be surprised if we get a look under the pyramid and there's another pyramid underground. So what will that do? If you're in there now, you're inside that body. I wonder how do they spin it? Either way, it will increase the density of light in that sphere. So if you increase the density of light in that sphere, it'll lessen in relation to the rest of the universe. So that's why they use pyramids. The dinosaurs, right? You remember like how come there used to be giant bugs, giant ass insects? Like here's a dragonfly from the Cretaceous, and it's like this big, But now insects in our current density state, right? In our current density around Earth, they can't grow to that size. Not able, right? How does our science come up with that? It doesn't. Anything else? Let's talk about refraction. It refracts. Nuclear energy. If you're breaking apart a super condensed bit of light, it basically just goes everywhere. That's probably why they're here. They're like, UAPs could be here. Like, what the F are these humans doing up here? Okay. So what else do you have? So anything I can explain. I'm not kidding, guys. When it says light, so I explain magnetism, electricity. Anything else you guys we talked about how animals can get back to where they're going. We talked about entanglement. I explained entanglement. is because we're all in the same field. It's kind of like if you have a plate. Imagine you have an electric plate, right? And the plate is charged. The plate's charged. And now I put a point here and a point here. Okay? And now I connect between them. So now by looking, right, the light coming from Jupiter has hit your eye. And now that will connect back to source. So that's why electricity always has to go to ground. I mean, isn't that weird? I'm always like, it's going to ground. That means Earth will be of one polarity, right? It's probably disorder. So what's going to change? The polarity that's going to change right now, very quickly, I think, very quickly, that'll be that polarity. So now we will go to the other polarity of order, and now I think that the universe can welcome us. This is the unification. If you look, it's built in. We should have been able to find this. We really should have been able to find this 60, 70 years ago. And it's not even that they didn't let us have it. Like the people that worked at all the people that are lying to keep this secret, which they must know, they probably just can't figure it out, because that's the 5D space, right? I just showed you 5D space is the space of thought. That is 5D space. But that's not where they're coming from. They're coming from different scales, the different frequencies of light that I showed you. Okay, so entanglement, you're just completing the circuit. It's all just a circuit. Just think of light. You already know electricity. You're very comfortable with it. Yeah, everything fills in. Optics. Talk about optics. Okay, so that's how our camera works. Light. It's a light field, and then it's curved, condensed by the lens. That's how a telescope works. Microscope. What else do we have? You can describe anything, any sensor. That's how energy is imparted. That's how heat is imparted. Is that from the sun, right? If the photon's hitting you, it's actually going fast, right? So light is going pretty fast, right? Light speed. So you need quite a bit of density, right? But what'll happen is it'll be slowed down. So as the field is hitting your skin, right, it'll go through. It'll start penetrating because the skin atoms don't have enough energy to actually trap the light. Okay, add new orbitals. That's where you need heavy energy, and that'll ionize stuff. That'll knock off waves, half the waves, etc. So that's why if you have your material here and the force field's coming in, some of it will get through, but then it'll get weakened, right? Weakened and then decrease. This also answers. I love the whole orbital argument. There is no quantum. There's no quantum. Okay. This is so good. So I'll just say it because I could explain it here. Okay, so let's talk about quantum effects, yeah? How does the solar system work? So if Oumuamua came into our solar system, okay, let's say it comes into our solar system, way too much energy. Okay, so this is a light object now. It's a light object, so trapped light, essentially. It's coming, let's say our solar system's here. It came here, right? And then it was pulled back and left. Okay, that's Oumuamua. So it had too much energy, right? It came in, and by the way, they lose energy. So if space-time works, how is it losing energy? Well, I guess it goes out of the gravity well, etc. But now, Oumuamua comes in. Too much energy, goes out, okay? Now it comes in. Too little energy, goes into the sun, destroyed, okay? Comes in, just the right amount, the quanta of energy, okay? The quanta. Comes in now it will go around, boom, and it will orbit. So quanta is just how we see it, how you would describe an orbit. You would describe it the same way that they're describing moronically at the quantum level, how they're describing their orbits. It's the exact same thing. So at quanta, you have those options. If it has too much energy, it goes through and loses a little bit of energy. How does it lose energy? And if it has too little energy, it will be, I believe, destroyed in the nucleus, or added to the nucleus. And then if it has enough miraculously to enter the orbit, right, then it will just enter the orbit. It's not some cosmic thing. It's the same thing, right? Back in the day when the center of the universe was the Earth, their math was insane. They had math going nuts all over the place. And that's also why I knew they were totally messed up, because it's just a mess. total mess. And like the Higgs field, right? The Higgs field, because at space-time, there's no force fields, right? According to current theory. But now you go down to the micro level, and all of a sudden they find a force field. So they're like, we're looking for the Higgs field. And it's like, what's that? It's like, well, it's the Higgs boson. Like, what's that? Okay. By the way, they didn't even find it. Okay. They found something close to it, and they're like, this is the Higgs. Can I give you a Nobel Prize? Yes, Dr. Sheep, please. No, you didn't find the Higgs. You found the love field. That is the love field. And it will scale directly. And I've done the math, and it's fine. And it works. And the reason you have 1/2 in your quantum equations, the reason you have 1/2, because of the spin, right? Because of the spin. Because you only half the wave. If something's positive, it means it's been disassociated. That means disassociated. It's half the wave. Same as the negative side. So, I don't know. All right. Anything else you want to know? Any other secret of the universe? Yes, it's an attraction field. It's a force field. It's a normal electric field but we don't really understand it fully. It does seem ironic. It is. I wonder if it's going to affect the density of the Earth, so something will change. The devil doesn't exist. It's really what we're seeing is disorder in the opposite direction. You're seeing destruction, which is disorder. Reality as we know it is abstract, and it's going to change. Can you bend the spoon with your mind? Yeah. If you can change your density, right? If you can somehow affect the density between you and the spoon, then you could affect the actual light density of the spoon. Yep. Never heard of blow photons. I don't know biophotons. Again, how did the universe appear? I think it's from the source. I mean, anything else you want to know about? How do we stack light frequencies? Okay, think about music, right? The same note can be an A, it can be a really low A, or you can go up an octave and the exact same note, right? It has the same effects, can be in the same space. So light you can stack. And since everything is light, you can stack everything. So it's really just density of light related to other densities of light. We do get free electricity from the universe. Every time you move, you're getting powered, and it's being recorded. So everything you're doing is getting recorded. Yes, I think you will rewatch this. A simulation. Yep. It's an electric universe. All right. You want to do the snap then? Could this all be a simulation? We're going to find out. All right. That's all the questions you got? It'll answer everything else. I'm serious. Let's do it then. All right. So look, what did I mention? Up until now, we've basically been in a disordered state. We've been condensed. It's been painful. But it's the yin and the yang, and it's not evil and good. Okay. It's just different types of the same energy. We split ourselves in half, and that is the other half. Okay. So I wouldn't say it's evil. It's just the other half. We'll have to learn about what it is. Okay. So I mentioned there that the actual structure of the universe is based off of sound. And I think there is a reason. There's a reason for that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play 2 songs. The first song is going to be from the past. Okay. And then I'm going to play the Golden Age song that our polarity has changed. And then we're going to do the snap all together. All right. And then it will change. Let's do it. You only get to do the theory of everything once on this. All right, guys, you ready? So this song came to me over the past year, and it represents the old. Hopefully, changes very quickly. All right, you guys ready? America, where you going with that gun in your hand? America, where you going with that gun in your hand? Yeah, I'm going down to shoot China. You know, I caught him messing around with another man. Yeah, I'm going down to shoot China. You know, I caught him messing around with another man. Yeah, I'm going down to shoot China. You know, I caught her messing around town. So I got a gun and I shot her. Ah. America, where you gonna run to now? America, where you gonna run to now? Where you gonna go? Yeah, I'm going way down south. Way down to Mexico, yeah. Yeah, I'm going down south. Way on down to Antarctica. Let's go, baby. Golden age. Let's do it. Woo! Yeah. It's golden age. Sorry. It's okay. It's okay. All right. Now, go big or go home, guys. I can't find it. I've never broke a guitar. Never broke one. All right, guys. Now, Now we're entering the order age, man. This is the golden age. No more of that. Well, you can still party, but it's gonna be even better and even more amazing. This band, my band, called String Theory. We had never played this song before, and we just we played it today. I thought of this today, and so this is it.
Is one, and the world really is one.
It's real. It's real.
And the world really is one. Woo-hoo.
All right. Copyright strike. You guys ready? Okay. Hope I explained it. You guys are here. You'll see it. If you're watching this later, this will make a difference. So this is going to be the Thanos snap. And we're going to bring in the literal golden age of humanity on Earth. And I'm happy to do it with you. I'm so happy. We did it. And you ready? 3, 2, 1. Feel something. Right, guys. Yeah, sorry, the guitar. This didn't plan on it. All right, everyone. Remember to like and subscribe. Have a great rest of your day.